little bit on the first, and my mom and dad came down. My dad did a few little things to my bike for me, and by the time he got done, I went, no, it's just too cold.
Oh, this. Of course, we were talking at the coffee shop this morning, and about this is more like the winters that I remember when I was a kid.
Me too. Yeah.
When it was winter time, we could always figure it was going to be cold. We was going to have lots of snow. I mean, that's the way it was. We've kind of been spoiled the last few years. We haven't had that much snow and stuff. And it's winter time.
It is. It is. So did you make it till midnight on New Year's?
I did.
You did?
I absolutely did.
Good for you.
We went early that evening down to Marshfield to my son, so I got to see my little grandson down there.
Oh, good.
And we ate and just had a good time. And so coming home, because we had my little granddaughter, she stayed with us. So we came home. It was about 10:30 or 11, somewhere along in there. And so at about 11 o'clock, I decided I was hungry and stopped at McDonald's and got me a McRib and ate that.
Oh, my
And I sat there and
you couldn't go to sleep because you had heartburn.
I had, yeah. So anyway, I sat there and the girls, they went to bed and I sat there and watched the new year come in. So.
Well, good for you. Well, I had good intentions, and me and my little Bichon Tucker, we were snuggled up on the couch there with our blanket because it was chilly, and I had my hot tea, and we were watching, and next thing I know, I woke up and went, missed it, went to bed.
Yeah.
So I didn't make it this year, but that's okay.
Well, you had good intent.
I tried.
That's right.
I tried. It just didn't work out for me this year, but that's just how things are sometimes.
Oh yeah, yep, that's for sure. But no, we had a great time, and so it was a good New Year's and a good safe one, and So now we're ready to jump into 2014 here. It's going to be a great year for both of us.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you make any New Year's resolutions?
I don't.
I don't either. I have goals and things like that, but that's kind of an ongoing thing. It's not like I just decide just for New Year's to do something like that, because I just kind of have those continual. And one of my goals I've already accomplished this year.
Really? Mm-hmm. What's that?
My sister and I went into business together, and we purchased Dogwood Printing in Ozark on the 31st.
Wow.
Now, you have to be insane to do that at the end of the year. Because I have Spring Mountain Air, and now I have Dogwood Printing, and you know how much stuff there is to do at the end of the year. So I'm starting to end up a year with one, start a new one, and it's just nuts.
Wow.
I'm just like coming and going and running over myself just about.
Oh, I bet.
But we're really excited to do that. My sister and I decided we wanted to go into business together, and so she's getting more training than I am, because obviously yesterday I ran around getting all the licenses and the sales certificates, and Spring Mountain Air's been around for a long, long time, and I had forgotten how much time it takes to do all that stuff, because now at Spring Mountain Air, it just comes to me in the mail, and I just renew it and put it in the mail. Well, when you buy a company, that's not how that works.
Right.
So I spent a lot of time running all over town yesterday, and now here I'm at the show. So I told my sister, I said, well, you just learn all you can, and you can teach me when I have time.
There you go. She can teach you. That's right. Well, congratulations.
Thanks. I think it's going to be a fun adventure, and it's an interesting kind of story. There were two sisters who've owned that for over 20 years, and now me and my sister own it. So it went from two sisters to two more sisters.
Two more sisters. Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of a neat deal. Yeah.
That is cool.
Pretty excited, and going to see if they can teach this old dog something new.
Oh.
I think they can.
I don't think there'll be an issue there, that's for sure. So you'll do fine. So, well, congratulations. And that's in Ozark, right?
That's in Ozark. We're right there off of, you can see us right off of Highway 65. We're, if you take the CC exit, we're on that outer road that comes back north past the boat place.
Okay.
And you keep going past is it Marble? The Marble Place or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And anyway, at the top of the hill, and there's Hard Hat Gears up there, and U-Haul trucks and different things like that, and we're on the north end of that building. So need some new signs and stuff. The signs are a little faded, so, we do have a few things to work on to get a little more visible. But, yeah, we're excited about it, and look forward to helping anyone that needs something printed.
Awesome.
A lot of that going on.
That's where to go. Yeah, absolutely.
And, of course, on the Spring Mountain Air side, this cold weather is making us, pretty busy.
Right.
So got all of our guys out working today and taking care of all kinds of service. Did a furnace installation yesterday. I think we've got a couple more. We're doing the first of next week, and lots of service and repairs. And some people still want to get maintenance done. They didn't get their maintenance done over the holidays, and so still
Right.
trying to do that. So, yeah, I just have a whole lot going on.
You do. You are a busy woman.
Keeps me out of trouble. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, there you go. I'm glad you said that maybe. So
Maybe. Hopefully
yeah.
it'll keep me out of
Yeah.
trouble.
Well, I got a question for you. Talking on about heating and air. This was a topic that came up this morning at the coffee shop. I learned a lot from the coffee shop.
I
believe
guess
me.
so.
Yeah. If you have a heat pump,
Yes.
that heat pump will only work till it gets so cold, and
Right.
then you go on backup, whether
Yes.
it be electric or gas, whatever.
Correct.
Do you have to switch from one to the other, or will it automatically switch over?
It switches over. It's in your thermostat.
Okay.
And so you just have it on heat, and once it hits that certain temperature, then the thermostat controls
over to
all of that,
emergency
and
or-
it takes it to either emergency heat or your gas furnace, whatever it is that
Yeah.
you've got. Yeah.
Okay.
So you just leave it on heat, and you're good
Okay.
to go.
Okay. Well, that's what we thought when we was talking about this. One of the guys said he'd been told that he needed to switch it over to emergency when it got so cold, and just run it on that. And I think okay, that's kind of what we thought.
It'll do it automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if it doesn't, then obviously you have an issue with your
Right.
system or your thermostat or something. But yeah, it takes care of it on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine going to bed and it's 32 and you get up and it's 12? Well, you're not going to get up in the middle of the night and flip
right,
the switch
exactly.
to yeah. So no, it does. It takes care of it for you.
And so now, will the unit sitting outside the heat pump, will it continue to run or anything?
Not
or
when
does
you're on
it-
emergency heat.
Okay.
No.
So it should shut off, and the other take over. Then when it warms up enough,
It'll come back
Okay.
on. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, heat pumps. A lot of people are a little bit confused about heat pumps, especially if they've never had them before. I've had one for many, many, many years. I kind of talked about this before. We had one lots of years ago in Arkansas, and I hated it. And I wasn't warm, and I didn't like it. And then we moved to Nixa, and Paul was going to put one in our Nixa house. And I said, then I'm living somewhere else because I'm not going to be cold again. Well, they've really improved them. It's not like the real old heat pumps were way back then. And,
Right.
And so yeah, and dual fuel systems are real popular. They're great to have. We had that in our house in Nixa. I don't have it at the lake because I'm all electric, but a real good system is to have a heat pump with a high efficiency gas furnace backup,
Okay.
and those work extremely well. We've put in lots and lots of those for people. Now mine is I have an air handler. I have electric backup, but it all works fine. I just set my thermostat and I just leave it where I'm comfortable, and it just does its thing.
does its thing.
Yeah. No, that would
okay.
be kind of nuts if you had to keep
That's
switching.
kinda what I was thinking,
that
yeah.
that would not be a good way to have to manage your heat for sure.
Yeah. Now, when you see a heat pump, looks like a big cube of ice.
Uh-huh.
It's all iced up. Is that normal? Should that happen? Or
They do ice up, and then they'll go into defrost, and it'll take all that off. So
Okay.
yeah, heat pumps do that.
Okay.
Yep, they do.
Well, it's like you say, they can be kind of confusing, and I know there's a lot of people has a lot of questions about it, especially if you move into a place that you've never had that
one,
type,
yeah.
And of course, the old horror story, everybody says, "Oh, you freeze to death," and with the heat pump and stuff.
Back in the
but-
day, you did.
yeah, but like you say, they have changed so much over
Yeah.
the years. Why? It's,
Not so much anymore. Lots of people have them, and
Yeah.
sometimes if people will move into a new house and they don't realize that's a heat pump,
Mm-hmm.
we'll get calls and they'll say, we have our furnace on, but our air conditioner's running outside.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, do you have an air conditioner? Do you have a heat pump? They're like, well, I don't know. So your outside unit, if it's heat pump, does run in heat mode. So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
some people get a little confused with that as well, and they
Okay.
think their air conditioner is running at the same time their furnace is. But your heat pump is your air conditioner and your furnace.
Your furnace.
So it does both. There's a reversing valve in there, so when you're on cool, it gives you the air conditioner side, and then in the winter when you have it on heat, then it gives you the heat side of the unit. So
Okay, there
Yeah.
you go.
there you go.
Answered my question. So
Well, I'm glad I had an answer for that. And I don't have all the answers. Sometimes you have to call the office and talk to someone a lot smarter than me on the technical side. But yeah, that's how heat pumps work. But those are real common questions that we have. So
right.
yeah.
And speaking of calling, you know, some people might want to call in here this morning
And they might want to talk to us. They might just want
They
to wish
might.
us Happy New Year or something.
Well,
You never know.
that's true.
You never know.
That's true. So I think we better give the numbers out.
Probably should.
You can call us at 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056 if you're a Verizon customer, star 56. Or if you want to send us a text, you can do that at 417-838-3192. And I got a text already this morning. From my buddy Gene Reasoner over at driving the bus over at Mercy on the parking lot. He said he's listening.
Well, good.
But he said he didn't know Mary was a biker. Yes, Mary is a biker.
Yes, I
she owns a
am.
Harley.
I have been my whole life. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. I know sometimes that kind of shocks some people. But I've ridden it my whole life. When I was growing up, my dad had a Harley shop, and I got my first Harley when I was 8 years old. Those little ones that were made in Italy, and they were little. I had a little 50cc, and then the next year I got the bigger one, and I got a 65cc, and my little brother got the 50cc.
Really?
And, oh yeah, and we rode the dickens out of them things.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I've rode motorcycles pretty much my whole life. Paul and I had a motorcycle, and then we did four-wheelers for years and different things. So, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That kind of shocks a few people, but that's okay.
That's
a lot of
awesome.
women ride bikes.
They
these
do.
days,
You know, I'm
so-
seeing more and more when I'm out riding.
Yeah.
Women riders, you know, more so than what I used to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's cool. So
Yep.
my very first one, was a Sears and Roebuck mini bike with a 2.5 horse Briggs and Stratton engine on it. I'll never forget that.
There you go.
Yeah, I rode that
Were
many
you
miles.
20?
Yeah,
How old were you when you got that, Mark?
I was 25. It's like the movie, the Dumb and Dumber movie, you know, where two of them's riding on that little mini bike. But no, I was around, I don't know, probably 9 or 10 years old, maybe a little younger than that when I got that. And then I went to the little Honda, let's see, Trail 70 is what I went
Yes,
to.
yeah.
And
Yep.
so I've had all kinds of different bikes. And so it's kind of neat when you grow up doing it, you know.
It is.
I think it's neat for you know, for the kids. You know, I never was into the motocross or anything like that, but I know a lot of young kids that's got into that, and I think that's really neat. You know, it's a great sport, and then, you know, as they grow up, they get into more street bikes and stuff, and you know, it's you know, some people in motorcycling it can be dangerous. And you do have to watch everybody beside yourself.
You
but
do.
but you know, it's a great stress relief for me anyhow.
It is me too, and a lot of times people who don't ride don't understand that, but there's just something about being on a bike and just being out there
Right.
and the wind and the
Sure.
whatever. I don't know. It's relaxing for me, and it is a stress reliever because when you're riding your bike, you can't think about 100 other things. You have to focus on riding your
On
bike.
riding
So
your bike.
it kind of like clears your mind of all the yuck or whatever's going on, and kind of gives you. It's very relaxing for me as well. It's just.
Yeah.
It just works for me.
Yeah. Well, I laugh, you know, because my boss, Dan Clark over there at Remax, you know, he'll make fun of me sometimes for riding. But I turn around and make fun of him for playing golf all the time. See, that's his stress
Yeah, there's
relief.
different.
So,
Yeah,
see,
there's different
yeah.
things for different people. and you just-
Absolutely.
But I do think it's important everyone finds what works for them.
That's
Everybody
true.
needs something that is an activity that can do that for them.
Yeah. And, you know, just like myself, I have my motorcycle riding, but my music.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
and some people get into, you know, woodworking and
Sure.
you know, all kinds of home activities like that, home repairs and things. And so I think everybody should find their niche, and it's just a good stress reliever. And
Find something you enjoy,
enjoy.
that's relaxing, and it can just you can just kind of let the world go for a little bit.
sure, absolutely.
I think it's important.
Yep.
So
Yep, I agree.
yeah, that's just kind of my thing because I grew up with it, and that's what I
cool.
like to do. So I still
Yeah.
like to do it. I like to ride with my dad. My dad's 76, and we just have a great time riding together. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Except for this time of year when I can't ride.
You know, it's painful to walk out there in the garage and see that bike sitting there and think, oh man,
Yeah.
I'd really like to ride, but you just can't.
Well, sometimes though we can have a pretty decent day if
Yeah.
it's sunny and not super windy and all that, because that's something you have to consider too.
Yeah.
I don't like riding in a 30-mile-an-hour wind.
Oh,
and
no.
You're just fighting the bike the whole time. But if you have a nice sunny day and it's 55 or so and not very windy and the roads
Yeah.
are clear, I can ride.
Oh yeah,
Not a problem.
yeah, absolutely.
And we could get one of those here pretty soon.
We
Not
could.
soon enough.
You know, there isn't too many months out of the year that I don't ride, maybe just around town or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's you know, I've rode when it down in the upper 30s and low 40s, but if it's sunny and no wind and stuff, and
It's not that bad.
you're not out on the highway, it's not that
Yeah.
bad at all.
Yeah, if you got the right gear, you got to
Yep.
have the right stuff.
Yeah,
But
and and
that's in anything.
That's in anything,
Sure.
exactly. And so, but find your niche and do it. I mean, do it, enjoy it. And life's too short not to.
Yes, it is. My sister's a golfer, so that's her thing.
Mm-hmm.
I played golf with her one time. That is not my game. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of got tickled at me. I just used one club. I just used the number 5 because it had the biggest head on it, so I could hit the ball. And I just used it on the whole course, and she would just laugh and go, "Oh my goodness." It's like, well, I just don't know a whole lot about this, but as long as I could hit the
Yeah.
ball, I was happy, and I didn't care about all the. I don't need a bag of clubs. I just need
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I just need one.
My son taught me into going to the driving range one time, and I had people running because I'd hit one and it might go over this side and almost hit somebody, or it might go the other direction or behind me.
You were playing dodge golf.
Every now and then I'd get one out in front of me. So I just realized that golf wasn't my strong suit there.
Not
So,
mine either. But I
yeah.
know a lot of people enjoy it, and I do think it's a great game for people who enjoy it. and
yeah,
like
absolutely.
It. Good
Great
exercise.
exercise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep, for sure it is. So, what's some of the things that folks need to be doing this time of year as far as their heating and air? We talk about changing your furnace filters and everything. Right now furnaces are running quite a bit.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And that is absolutely the most important thing. And I know I preach about that a lot, but really that is one of the most important things to do. And I was talking to my son this morning, and he's real busy today. And I said, obviously take care of all of our clients first, but at some point when he has time, I need him to come by our print shop because I have no clue where the filters are even at. I've kind of looked around. I haven't had a lot of time messing around. I'm trying to learn how to be a printer. But I said, when you have time, come by here and kind of, find the filters for me and show me how to take care of this system a little bit.
Right.
Especially in a we're going to be in a print shop with all that paper and all that paper dust and all that stuff. They're going to clog up pretty regular. And so that's something I want to keep an eye on and make sure that we keep that changed regularly. But I got to find it first.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So if you don't know where your filters are, the first thing you need is find them.
Find them.
And the second thing is make sure that they're changed on a regular basis.
Right.
Especially with, furnaces are running a lot right now.
And too, a lot of folks, burn a lot of wood this time of year, and that puts a lot of dust and stuff in the air. And so that all gets sucked right into the filter too.
And something else that's real important, and I'm going to have to start remembering this now because our furnace at the print shop is propane. And I haven't had to buy propane for a few years, so that's something that I need to be aware of.
Sure.
So, and we have this happen every year. We'll have someone call and say, the furnace, it was working and it just quit.
Right.
They ran out of propane.
Uh-huh.
And we're not used to having this cold weather like this, so obviously we're going to go through more propane than we have maybe normally the last few years. So keep an eye on that. If you have a propane tank,
So that's a good point.
keep an eye on that, especially if you have a high efficiency furnace, if you have a 90 or 95% furnace. It's real important. You really want to keep it above 30% in your tank.
Okay.
So that's something to kind of be aware of also if that's your particular situation. Now, if you're on natural gas, that's doesn't really pertain, but and there are a lot of people who still use propane.
Yes, there is.
And so just be aware that you're probably going to go through it a little quicker than normal, and just kind of keep your eye on it. Before when we had it, we were just on a prepay agreement, and so every so often we didn't have to call them; they would just check it, and periodically just bring it out and fill it up,
Right.
which made it really nice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm going to see about it's the same people we used for 20-some years when we were in Nixa, so I'm going to go by and talk to them and see if I just can't get on something, because that's not something that's top of the mind awareness for me anymore either,
Well,
is to check a propane tank.
Absolutely.
And I certainly don't want to run out.
Uh-uh.
It is too cold.
It is. This is not the time of the year to run out. And something else. Well, matter of fact, we talked about propane at the coffee shop this morning. We talk about a lot of things over there.
I should
But,
come to the coffee shop. Maybe
you
I'd learn
should.
something.
You
I don't have
should.
time right
Well,
now.
I don't know
but
if it's good to learn, but also we were talking about kerosene heaters and stuff and how expensive kerosene is.
Oh, it's
so if you run
terrible.
out of propane, you have to switch to that kerosene heater that's sitting in the garage just to get you by. You're going to pay about $45 for a 5-gallon bucket of
Yeah,
K1
it's terrible.
kerosene. Yeah,
It's terrible.
Yeah, it is. So, you know what? This first half hour, and we have just sat here and just talked about whatever.
We have. I thought we'd have some callers jump in and want to join in. Maybe the second half.
Maybe the second half.
They're getting their pencil and their notes out so they can call us.
That's right, they are. So I think we need to take a little break.
All right.
And we'll be back right after this. Now, if you've got a problem and you don't know what to do, your siding's going bad and you're plagued with green mildew. Well, your faucets, they all drip and your sinks are all clogged up too. Well, there's no need to worry. I'll tell you what you can do. Just call Home Repairs and Solutions. Home Repairs and Solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house. They'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home Repairs and Solutions.
Here's news on the Ozarks News Network. Springfield police are piecing together information in a shooting incident in North Springfield. They say a car with 3 people in it pulled up in front of an apartment in the 1600 block of North Delaware and began arguing with a man inside. He came out with a handgun and fired a shot in the air and at least one more into the car. It appears no one was hurt. Investigators say a fire in a hair and nail studio in Reeds Spring may be a case of arson. It happened at the Chop Shop on Highway 413. Southern Stone County fire officials think the blaze may be connected to 2 other recent fires. And it was a safer New Year's holiday this year on Missouri's highways. The Missouri Highway Patrol reports no one was killed in traffic accidents during the counting period. During last year's longer counting period, 12 people died on Missouri's highways. This year, the patrol investigated 116 crashes with 42 injuries. For the Ozarks News Network, I'm Arlen Summers.
And join us for America's First News, Monday through Saturday at 6:05 a.m. on the Wall Street Journal this morning on AM 560 KWTO.
4 days only, Piano Craft's year-end clearance event. All remaining 2013 inventory must go. Pianos discounted from 70% off. Instruments starting as low as $300. Own a new piano from $55 a month with limited time special financing. The best selection and lowest prices are available starting New Year's Day, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday by appointment only. Public viewing for remaining inventory begins on Saturday the 4th. Call the appointment hotline right now at 713-1894. Call Piano Craft, 713-1894.
Partly sunny and breezy today with a high 36. Then tonight, clear and breezy, low 25. Tomorrow, some rain late in the afternoon mixing with and changing to snow. We'll have a high of 41 and a low tomorrow night of 12. Then on Sunday, chance for a bit of snow or flurries in the morning. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, windy, and much colder with a high 16 and a low 3 below zero. I'm AccuWeather's Kevin Snyder.
It's 23 degrees at AM 560 KWTO.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions." Well, here we
back.
are. We're back.
We are.
That's right.
And in case you just tuned in, this is Home Repairs and Solutions. And we're just doing a Mark and Mary show today.
Yeah.
And we'll get some more guests on here coming up probably the rest of the month. But a lot of people were off over the holidays. And when you have the holidays in the middle of the week, it just is weird.
It is.
It's just kind of hard to get things done.
I pulled in the driveway last night. My trash, they come and pick up on Tuesday mornings. So I always set my dumpster out on Monday nights. Pulled in the driveway last night. Well, grabbed my trash dumpster, started to roll it out there. And I thought, well, this isn't Monday night. this is Thursday
I
night.
know. My
because
days are all messed up.
That
yeah.
day off in the middle
Yeah.
of the week just absolutely messed me up. And that don't take much to mess me up. Believe me.
Well, I think a lot of people had that same issue. Like yesterday felt like a Monday to me too, and especially starting a new business. You know, I
Oh,
was
yeah.
spending, and it just seemed like a Monday, but it's not. It's Friday. For all you that are confused, it is Friday.
Yes,
So
it is. And this is our favorite place to be on Fridays.
that's right. My favorite hour of the week is right here on Home Repairs and Solutions, and something we were talking about a little bit before the show is dryer vent cleaning. We
Yes.
talked about that some before, and the question was, how much does that cost? And it's $125 for us to come out and completely clean out that dryer vent. Make sure that you don't have a bunch of stuff clogged up in there. You know, some people think dryers, some of them have that little vent thing on the top.
Yeah.
Some of them, you know, they have them inside the door,
Inside the door,
different things
yeah.
like that. And it's real important to clean those out every time that you do laundry. But the majority of the lint and everything actually goes out the back down that pipe.
Right.
And so that's where we've had people in the past say, well, I keep that cleaned out all the time. That's good. You do need to do that, but you're not cleaning out the vent coming out of the back of the dryer. And that's
right.
where you're going to get the problem.
Yep.
You're going to get, that's where it's going to get compacted in there and clogged up and different things like that. Now, it's a little too cold. Our equipment doesn't like to operate when it's this cold because we have to bring a compressor and different things. And when it's this cold, it doesn't want to run and it'll freeze up and
Right.
all that kind of good stuff you have with this cold weather. But if we have a day that's, 40 degrees or whatever above freezing, then we can go ahead and do that for people. And it's $125 for us to come out and do that. So,
That is money well spent right there because, that's one of the leading causes of house fires.
Yes, it
clogged
is.
up dryer vents. And, you think $125 could save you thousands and thousands of dollars or even save your life.
Sure. And a lot of times when that happens is people will put, and I do this too, and I try not to, but sometimes, you just have a lot going on and you run out of time, you can't get everything done. And I'll throw a load of something in the dryer and then leave.
Then leave. Yeah.
And usually that's when they catch on fire and you come back and your house is
Gone. Yeah.
So, probably not the best thing to do, but I'm guilty of it. I know a lot of people do. They say
Yeah.
and I do that with my dishwasher. Like I'll be ready to leave in the morning. Like, oh shoot, I didn't do this last night, and I'll turn the dishwasher on. So if something happens and I have a hose or something come off a break, I'm just gonna have a mess.
Oh, yeah.
By the time I get home, it's gonna be too
Sure,
late.
yeah. And, we all do that, have a habit of doing it. Oh, man, I'm running late. I'm just going to turn this on, let it run while I'm gone or whatever. I'm really particular about that. That happens around our house quite often, and somebody gets chewed out quite often.
I really try not to do that. It's
Yeah.
best if you can take care of all those things while you are at home, because then if you do have an issue, you're going to know about it right away.
That's right.
And you'll be able to address it immediately instead of maybe hours later when it's too late.
Yeah,
But,
that's true.
Yeah, but I do that too.
And I mentioned this to Nathan last week when we was on the air about I was during the summer I was out back mowing or something. And I just happened to look down and I noticed the dryer. I knew my wife was running the dryer inside, but the little flappers and stuff wasn't really opening. And so I pulled the cover off, and the reason I didn't see anything because it was completely clogged up.
Yeah.
And so just think if that's clogging up there, just think what's going through that and hanging up all the way through it. So I think it's very important to get that dryer vent cleaned out. There's always a possibility, too, that, your dryer vent hose is cracked, it's, deteriorated. And that's a good way to find out all that, make sure it's all
Especially those
properly
ones that are
working.
kind of like a slinky.
Yeah.
Like a covered slinky.
Yeah.
Those, they don't last forever.
No.
And they do deteriorate and they do crack and sometimes they come completely off or they split in two and there's just all kinds of things that can happen with
Yeah.
those. So it's just something to think of, if you're just kind of and it's good that you notice that. I check
Yeah.
mine all the time too. If I know the dryer and I'm outside, I always check to make sure
Sure.
those little flaps are out and that
Yeah.
everything's coming out like it's supposed to. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a good indication if that's not working right, you've got a clogged vent.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. That's true. Another thing now, most folks should have done this already. If they haven't, it's too late. But, we've had a few warm days and people think, I'm going to hook up the water hose and wash the
Yes.
nasty off the car, and they forget to unhook
That's right.
them.
I've had some neighbors that actually, we had that warm spell that day or so, and they did that, and they
Yeah.
washed their cars. I should have got mine in line. Mine needs to be washed, but they did remember to unhook theirs.
Yeah, yeah. So if you haven't, if it's not too late and the damage is already done, get those things unhooked
Mm-hmm.
because the next few days we're supposed to have some extremely cold weather. And
Oh yeah,
so,
I can hardly wait.
yeah, me and you both. I'm so excited, So, but yeah, get those hoses unhooked, because we do that. We don't think about it. We hook it up, wash the nasty stuff off the car, hose the driveway off or whatever, because we have days up in the 40s or 50s, and then bam, here we are back in the deep freeze, and so
And it is important to get that stuff off your car.
it is.
I ran mine through the car wash the other day because my car is wrapped and it's got that vinyl wrap, and so I'm real careful. I don't want to leave all that salt and stuff on there because eventually it will start to eat through it and everything.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't hand wash it, but I did run through a car wash and knocked all that stuff off.
Yeah.
These car washes, the way it's going, will be busy this winter with all
Oh,
the
man.
snow and all the salt and all the stuff. It's just a mess.
Yeah. And we have several new car washes in town, and it makes it so
Yeah.
handy because,
It does.
it's $3 or $4 or $5 and you pull in and you go through it and I try to do that with my truck every couple weeks anyhow. And
I like the ones that have the undercarriage wash because I want all that
Yes.
off the underneath part too. I don't want all
Absolutely.
that stuck to the underneath of the car and
yeah.
eating whatever's under there.
And especially if you live in a newer home where the concrete is still what we call green or newer concrete, you don't want that stuff dripping off on the concrete.
Yeah.
If you can prevent, I know sometimes you can't help it. I mean,
Right.
but the quicker you can get that off of there, the better. Most of the ice melt that's used nowadays is not supposed to harm, new concrete, but hey, you don't know what's put on our streets and stuff out there,
Yeah.
I've had people pull in the garage, all that stuff drip off on the floor, and pretty soon they're like, "Hey, our garage floor is, looks horrible. It's flaking off and everything." Well, that was the cause of it. It was because of the what was on their car dripped off on the floor, and
That's what mine looked
Yeah.
like this morning because when I got home, mine was still pretty packed with stuff. And I got up this morning and there was like water and stuff on the concrete where it had melted off the car finally last night because
Yeah.
it didn't melt off during the day yesterday.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
yeah, no, it didn't. And so, I was amazed. This little bit of snow we had, it was about the slickest stuff ever was.
It's still,
Yeah.
going home, I'm down there by the lake, and there's still some places where on some of those hills and curves where the sun doesn't get to, it's still just icy. Then you'll have bare patches, then you'll have, a little stretch of ice still. So
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be like Monday, but
Yeah.
as long as I can get here, I guess it'll be fine. It took me almost an hour to get from my house to CC turnoff yesterday.
Wow.
Traffic was backed up from 14. I don't know what was going on, but it was crawling down 65 yesterday,
Yeah.
which probably is going to happen more than once this winter, I would imagine.
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
Yep. But what are you going to do? Can't control the weather.
Can't control the weather, so you just need to stay in and tune in Home Repairs and Solutions.
There you go. There you go.
That's
And I don't think it didn't seem like there were too many out. But like I said, I still think there were a lot of people off or something. And school was, a lot of schools were still out. I think Springfield went back yesterday.
Yeah, I
but
think they did.
there were still, I think, quite a few schools that were out. So
Yep. Hey, if you'd like to give us a call, we still have a few minutes left in the show. 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056. Or if you're a Verizon customer, it's star 56, or send us a text at 417-838-3192. We'd love to hear from you and try to answer any question you got, or if you just want to
I
talk.
have a question for you.
Yeah.
We got a question up here on the screen. It says it's talking about heat loss around windows, but and I know you can caulk and do that kind of thing. My question is the electrical outlets that you have on the wall. What do you do with those if you can feel cold air coming through those? Do you have to take how do you fix that? You can't just squirt foam in there or something, can you?
Well,
Without messing up your plugs, or I don't know what to do about that.
When last week or week before, whenever I pulled up the list here of things to do to get your for cold weather in your house, that was one of the things. because it's amazing the amount of cold air you can get through a receptacle. They actually make little insulating kits where you take your receptacle cover off.
Okay.
And then it has an insulation pad that goes behind the plate, and you put the plate back on. That does help because, like you say, you really can't get in there to foam insulate.
Because if you needed to do some repairs or wire work or something, then, then you're kind of in a mess.
Yeah.
But
So they do make the kits that come with several for receptacles and several for switches. You can trim them to fit if you need to.
Okay.
But yeah, they will help seal that up because you do get a lot of cold air.
it's
through
amazing.
there.
I was noticing the other day some of my some of mine that are on like outside walls.
Yeah.
And I really hadn't paid that much attention. And I was plugging something the other day, and I thought, wow, there is some cold air coming
Yeah.
through that thing.
yeah. Most of your hardware stores will carry the kits. When I was selling back a few years ago, there was a company named Mecklenburg Duncan MD, and they sold a lot of the insulating products. I don't know if they still make that or not, but they're specifically for receptacles and switches and stuff to stop the cold air.
So it's just like
So-
a piece of foam or a piece of something like that.
Little
and
piece
just
of insulating
thin,
foam, yeah.
And then you just put it on the back side of the cover plate. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I could do that.
Pretty easy to do.
I think I can do that.
Yeah, easy to do. When we build on our new houses that we build nowadays, we really try to, we foam everything.
Mm-hmm.
We foam all the holes. Like for instance, where the wire is, drilled to come down through the wall cavity, where your top plate, is drilled down through.
Right.
We'll foam that. Any opening that we can find like that to stop cold air coming in, we do. A lot of other builders do too. Used to be an issue where walls, an interior wall tees into an outside wall because it left a little cavity there that there was no insulation or anything in. We, by the help of Jeremy Atchley,
Yes.
he showed us a proper way to frame those outside walls where you can get insulation in there. And he really helped us. And I talked to Jeremy the other day on the phone, matter of fact.
He's a great guy.
He is. And, there's so many things like new construction that us as builders do or can do to help make a home more efficient. And so we try to foam everything that we can and to stop a lot of that. So we have very little air infiltration nowadays. But in an older home, that definitely wasn't the case.
Yeah. See, mine was an existing cabin, and then we added on, of course, the part that we added on, we did all that too. But existing is, it's you're kind of limited.
Yeah.
You can do some things, but you can't get into all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Framing part and all that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure. We got a caller holding on. Let's go to Rogersville and talk to Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
Good morning.
good morning.
Hope y'all aren't feeling too lonesome.
No.
I do have a question. You were talking about the concrete a while ago and the ice melt situation.
Mhm.
I had a new driveway put in about 3 years ago, and using ice melt this year, it has really caused that surface to deteriorate.
Right.
Is there any kind of a repair that can be done, a new finish to put over that?
You can. We had that issue over at our at the office. We had ice melt stay on the porch actually, and it didn't get washed off a lot. And we had an outdoor rug. Pulled that rug up, man, the concrete was just horrible under there. And they make a vinyl concrete patch that you can skim over that. Now, it's not going to be the color of the original concrete, more than likely, so you will see it. But it did patch that. There's a bonding agent that you use on it. You clean it, put this bonding agent on, then float out this vinyl repair patch, and I mean it's good and strong, and it stays. So you can do that.
Okay. But as far as the whole driveway would go, there's not anything to do there.
There is companies that will come in and they will put a finish over that. It's pretty expensive to do, but I've seen a lot of it done. They'll actually put I don't know if it's a vinyl product or what it is, but they'll recap that. It can be done and make your driveway look brand new, but it's pretty expensive.
Okay. Well, I hate to let it go just the way it is.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Older than what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
All righty. Well, I appreciate it.
Oh, you bet. Appreciate the call. I've seen that done. They can even take, if you're a big, say, Kansas City Chiefs fan,
Yes.
They can do your driveway with the Chiefs emblem or whatever
seen
in
that.
there.
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, if you do that, you better make sure you want that because
Yeah.
it's going to be there.
That's just like kind of getting your
it's kind of like a tattoo.
a tattoo your wife or your girlfriend's name tattooed on you. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better make sure.
Better
that's
make sure.
Yeah, that's a permanent thing.
Yeah, that's
For
right.
sure.
But there is ways to have your concrete resurfaced and take that and make it look brand new without having to take the whole driveway up or anything. Because like he was saying, you know, it's surface. The surface just starts, you know, flaking off, and it does look kind of bad, and it'll just continue to deteriorate if you don't do nothing. Now, something else that you can do, if you have like a new driveway, new sidewalk and stuff, after that has cured a little bit, seal that. You know, there's a lot of times on our new homes, we'll take and we'll seal the driveway and stuff. And so what that does, it just keeps all that stuff from penetrating into that new concrete.
How often should you seal concrete?
Oh, you know, it's going to depend a lot on the type of sealer you use, but probably every couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah, I just see whatever the manufacturer, you know, recommends. And another thing that's going to affect that is how much sun you get on it.
Sure, the weather. Sure.
And stuff. And if it's in a certain side of the house where the sun just beats on it all the time, it's not going to last as long as if it's got a lot of shade and stuff. So
Yeah.
but just sealing it helps a lot, and so keep some stuff off. Let's talk to Janet holding on. Go ahead, Janet.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Well, I have a concrete question too. I just bought another house, and there's an area, I would say maybe 6 by 12. It's right next to a brick garage. Now, it looked like a do-it-yourselfer had done this concrete because it's lumpy, bumpy, cracked, and leaking. Is there anything that I personally could do to get it working and not such an eyesore?
Well, you know, the product like I was talking about with the last caller, the vinyl concrete patch, you could, you know, if you're talented enough to get out there with a trowel, you can, you mix it fairly thin so it floats out pretty easy and levels out. You know, you could do that.
Well, it's self-leveling.
Self-leveling, yeah.
Okay, and you can't see what inside the garage. You can tell that it is leaking through there, but you look at it and you can't see that there's a crack there at all.
Right. Yeah.
So,
you know,
okay,
that would be the only thing I could think of that you might do, you know, other than calling an expert on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be grinded down or anything. I understand there's a grinder that you could hire somebody to.
You could do
grind
that.
And level it out. And is that pretty pricey?
That's that's going to be fairly expensive. You know, the best thing to do is just you know, have somebody come out and give you a bid on it just to see. You might be surprised. It may not be as much as what you think, but yeah, it can be ground off and resurfaced.
Well, now the patch that you're talking about. Now, where would I get that? Would I get that at like Home Depot or someplace like that, or?
Yeah, I would check at like one of your big, you know, your box stores. I'll tell you another place. I would go to Carter Waters. They're a local business here in town, and they're over off of Sunset, West Sunset. And I would check with them first.
Sunset and what? What's the other cross street?
Just west of Kansas Expressway.
Okay. All right. Now, because you said it doesn't match the same color as the regular concrete, can it be patched? And then could I put in? Can I paint it with that? Oh gosh, what do you call that?
Epoxy, an epoxy type paint.
It's a special paint, and I'm just trying to think because I just bought some for the deck, and I can't think of the name of it. Oh gosh, but I mean, a little bit goes hardly at all. A lot of it goes a little way. You know, it's very thick. It's like thick honey.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but maybe that I could pour that on, and maybe take a great big wide rubber. What do you call it? The
squeegee.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's like a squeegee. You think that would work? I don't want to make a bigger mess.
Yeah,
than it is,
exactly.
Well, you know what, Janet? We've got a concrete expert holding on line 2. Why don't we get him on and maybe he can answer your question and give you some more insight. So hold on, Janet. We'll put him on and see if he can help you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
Yeah, on the bumpy patio that you've got, you can grind that down at about $85 an hour, and I'd say that's probably plenty of time to get that ground down. And then to go over that with a thin set material,
Right.
which is self-leveling, and take what she's calling a squeegee is actually called a grade rake in the business. But
Okay.
it basically will squeegee it out, and it'll take it'll fill in the low spots and put a little more material there, and then the high spots obviously not as much. And then there's also, for that application and for the gentleman from Rogersville that had the flaking due to ice melt and so forth.
Right.
You can do like you were saying, clean it, put a bonding agent down, and then something called a microcrete, which is designed to look exactly like concrete. That's
Okay.
the name. And just go over that, and it'll, it is a little bit pricey, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper than replacing the whole driveway.
Good to know.
And it just kind of depends on the square footage and how much you've got as far as making it worth somebody's time to come out there and do it. If it's a little bitty deal, they're gonna charge just to make up for their time.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
trouble. But those are your two options. Another place you can check is Increte of the Ozarks.
Yes, I forgot about them. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got all those products, and that's what they specialize in is decorative concrete and overlays. And you can actually take like that patio you're talking about, or even a driveway, and you can clean it, put a bonding agent down, and put a thin set down that you can stamp and stain or color. Make a regular patio look like it
cool.
was, set in slate or brick or whatever you want. I've got one at my house that everybody just assumes is a brick patio, and it's actually just stained concrete stamped.
Wow.
Cool.
So
Well, that's
a lot of products out there, and Increte's got a showroom you can walk through and just give you more ideas than you ever thought about.
well, fantastic. Hey, we appreciate that. We are out of time. Yes,
I
we
know
are.
already.
So we will be back next week with more home repairs and solutions, heard every Friday right here on AM 560 KWTO. Now, if you've got a problem and you don't know what to do, your siding's going bad and you're plagued with green mildew. Well, your faucets, they all drip and your sinks are all clogged up too. Well, there's no need to worry. I'll tell you what you can do. Just call Home Repairs and Solutions. Home Repairs and Solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house. They'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home Repairs and Solutions.